So you're thinking about moving to Woods Cross, Utah. So in this video, we're gonna cover the good and the bad, the pros and the cons of living in Woods Cross. So we get people calling us all the time, and they're always trying to narrow down, what areas should they be exploring? What areas should they be looking at? What's gonna be the best fit for them and for their situation? So that's the whole point of this video, is to help you narrow down and figure out, is Woods Cross one of these options or not? It's interesting that even here in Salt Lake County, we have people that are always thinking that Woods Cross and Davis County are so much further away than they really are. And so we're going to address some of those misconceptions in this video. And if you stick around until the end, then I'll actually share with you one of the hot spots, one of the local favorites for places to eat out in the Woods Cross area. There aren't many of them, so you'll want to stick around for this, and we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel, and if you'd like to know everything there is to know about living in Salt Lake City, Utah, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about the current market in Salt Lake City. Hi, my name's Steve Gilbert. I'm with eXp Realty, and my team and I, we get calls and emails every day from people just like you that are looking for help with making their move to the Salt Lake City area, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call. You can shoot us a text, schedule a Zoom call with us. The information is in the description below. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to Salt Lake City, Utah. So as I mentioned, we are going to discuss the pros and the cons of Woods Cross to see if it's really going to be the good fit for you. And we're not going to delay any further. We're going to get after it right now. So let's start by talking about the pros of living in the Woods Cross City area. So, top of this list, you can't really beat the location. It's convenience, and it's a quick commute time into the Salt Lake City area. And this really is a big misconception. Even here in Utah locally, especially for people that live in Salt Lake County, they can think that Woods Cross, Bountiful, Davis County, that is so much further away than it really is. But the reality is, traveling from Woods Cross to Salt Lake City is 14 minutes. Like, it doesn't get much quicker than that. And so there's a lot of areas within Salt Lake County that take much longer to get from that city into the Salt Lake area as opposed to living in Woods Cross. And heading to the airport, you're about 16 minutes. And if you live on the west side of Woods Cross, it's going to be even quicker and closer than that. So there's a couple of different travel routes in and out of Woods Cross. You do have I-15 that takes you north and south along the Wasatch Front. You've also got the Legacy Parkway, which is on the west side, and that's going to feed you down into I-215 on the west side belt route. Or else you've got Legacy Parkway that'll tie into I-15 in the Farmington area. And so, there used to always be this bottleneck around the North Salt Lake area as I-15 traveled north. As we hit this interchange where I-215 met with I-15, there was always so much traffic, and it was always a frustrating point, especially during rush hour. You'd always have to sit in traffic, and that's never fun for anybody. With Legacy Parkway that opened up several years ago, it has relieved a lot of that bottleneck. So you have people that can take Legacy Parkway up into the Davis County area, relieving some of that traffic and congestion. So being close and convenient to Salt Lake City, people that I know that live in Woods Cross, they absolutely love how close they are to the Salt Lake area. In fact, some people don't even have to hop on I-15 or even 215. They can take surface streets and they can be to the Salt Lake City area in under 20 minutes. Even during heavy rush hour. So that's our first pro on our list today. Woods Cross is also going to offer a little bit more affordable housing. We have a median home price of $495,000. So anytime we have these home values that are below $500,000, we do get kind of excited because there's several areas that are well above that. So including our neighbor to the east, which is Bountiful, they've got a median home price of around $532,000. Salt Lake County, their new median value is around $525,000. It used to be closer to $550,000. So you will find a little bit more affordable homes in the Woods Cross area. One thing about Woods Cross is people who are raised in this area of Woods Cross, North Salt Lake, Bountiful, they typically like to stay in Davis County. That's a pretty typical thing. So, if someone outgrows a home, or as they're raised and as they, go and find their own homes, they typically like to stay in Davis County. They'll move to areas like Centerville or Farmington. Maybe it's Kaysville, Syracuse, Layton, but that's very common to see people that have lived in Davis County stay in Davis County because they like the fill. It is a smaller fill, And part of that has to do with the population. So there's a population of close to 12,000 people. It's just below that in Woods Cross. And the population in Davis County in general is a lot lower. So if I remember right, we're around 360 or 380,000 people. And comparing that to Salt Lake County, where there's 1.2 million people, it's a lot smaller. And so if you do enjoy a smaller town feel, Woods Cross is going to offer that for you because we have a lot smaller population there. Woods Cross is going to offer some close nearby recreation, and that's because we are close to the mountains here. So you do have Bountiful between you and the Wasatch Front. However, it's really a pretty short distance. And so if you want to gain access to like heading up above the B up to the Skyline Drive, which is on top of the Bountiful Mountains, it's going to be just a short, 10-minute drive to hit the mountains. You've also got Mueller Park, which is nearby, a popular picnic destination. You've got North Canyon. You've got the North Canyon Trail System, the Mueller Park Trail. And this is about a 10-mile one-way directional trail. Is very popular for hiking and biking. I actually cover it in more depth in my Bountiful video, so you can watch that if you want to learn more about that. But you've also got some level, flat, paved trails near the Legacy Parkway. And so this is basically a trail system that's paved, and it parallels the Legacy Parkway that runs from North Salt Lake up into the Farmington area. So if you want to get out and enjoy being outside, whether it's down in the lower level area by Legacy Parkway, or whether you want to be up and enjoy the canyons and the mountains up above Bountiful, it's really pretty quick, easy access in this area. Another great thing about the Woods Cross area is how close it's located to the Salt Lake International Airport, especially for those who are traveling on business a lot. Just being located close to the airport makes it so much easier. Means it's that much less time on the road. Catching that flight, missing that flight, when you get home from that long flight, getting back home, it's just so much more convenient and easy. So it's only about a 14 to 16 minute drive from Woods Cross to the airport, depending on what part of Woods Cross it is that you live in. So you can easily take I-15 and then take the 215 and interchange, wrap down to I-80, or for those that live on the west side, they've got the Legacy Parkway that'll tie into 215 and then down to I-80. So it's quick and easy, really convenient, especially for business travel, or if it's just that leisure going on vacation. It's just that much easier to get on the road and get out of town. So now let's talk about a couple of the cons about the Woods Cross area. So one of them is going to be the train tracks that runs right through the middle of it. And this can just be an inconvenience. If I-15 is your main mode of travel, if you live on the west side of the train tracks, and if that train comes at the wrong time and you're stuck there, especially if you're, running tight to your schedule, to getting to the office or wherever it is that you're headed to, it can be frustrating there, sitting behind those railroad arms as they're down as that train goes by. And sometimes trains don't always move at the fastest speed. They can take longer than expected and just add a little bit of frustration. So that's always something that you have to deal with if you live near the train tracks and there are no over/under passes on those train railways on those surface streets in the Woods Cross area. So if a train comes through, you are going to have to deal with it. Another con about Woods Cross is going to be the mosquitoes, and that's simply because Woods Cross is located right next to the Great Salt Lake. So Great Salt Lake is located just west of Woods Cross, and anytime you're near the lake or near these wetlands, you're going to naturally have an increase in mosquitoes. And so Woods Cross does experience that, and especially the western part of Woods Cross. And so if you enjoy sitting on the patio or sitting on the deck during the summer, enjoying that last hour to 2 hours of light, that's really when those mosquitoes come out. And they can really be a nuisance, and they're never fun to deal with. And so just something to be aware of. I've helped families move out of areas like this. I remember a family just north of here in West Bountiful, and he told me stories of when he would mow his lawn in the evening, he had to wear long pants, long shirt, just so that he didn't get eaten alive by the mosquitoes. And so the mosquitoes can come out, they can be a problem, and they're never fun to deal with. Something that residents, especially on the west side of Woods Cross, do have to deal with. The eastern part of Woods Cross, they're not near as bad. So as you get to the Bountiful area, you just don't have to deal with the mosquitoes out there. So, if Woods Cross makes your list of considerations, and if you absolutely don't like mosquitoes and don't want to have to deal with them, just let us know. We can let you know what areas have a lot less mosquitoes as opposed to the parts that have a lot of them. another con to living in Woods Cross, and that's going to be the refineries. And here's the truth about refineries. It's kind of like people that live near freeways. It's like people that live near railroad tracks. And that is that, you know what, they get used to them and it's really not a big deal. However, you know, refineries are industrial. They are refining gas and oil. And so there are, you know, just the aesthetic look of having industrial places near your home that, you know, may not be the most aesthetically pleasing. You've also got the smell that comes from refining stuff like that. You know, most people aren't going to really notice it. However, you know, for those that have sensitive smells, maybe they will. And then the other thing too is you've got the dangers that can take place. Now, these are far and few between. There are not many accidents that take place at these refineries. However, there have been some in the past, and with them, the homes or the neighborhoods that are basically neighboring against these refineries have received damage before in the past. And again, this is something that is very far and few between, but it has happened. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and that's why it is one of the cons that we have for the Woods Cross area. So that wraps up our pros and cons for the Woods Cross city area. I hope that this has been helpful. You know, if there's certain things that you just can't live with, like a mosquito or, you know, living by a refinery, maybe Woods Cross isn't going to be the best fit. But, you know, if you like to be close to Salt Lake, if you like small, short commute times, if you like that small town feel, then maybe it's going to make your short list. So I hope you found this helpful and it has given you some considerations as far as, you know, what's going to be the best fit for you in your situation. Now, I mentioned if you stuck around to the end, I'd share with you one of those local places that's one of the favorite places for people to eat in the Woods Cross area. So we have Pace's Dairy Inn. This has been a local favorite for years, a locally owned place. They've had these famous Astro bars, which is a really thick, flavorful popsicle. They've been a favorite, but it's a great place for a hamburger, for French fries, for onion rings, for a milkshake, and it's right there on the Woods Cross Bountiful border, located on the Woods Cross side, but definitely a place to try out if you're in the area of Bountiful or Woods Cross. So that's going to wrap things up, and if you're thinking about making that move to the Salt Lake City area, whether it's in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text. You can even schedule that Zoom call with us. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to Salt Lake City, Utah, or to Woods Cross like we talked about today. And until then, I hope to see you around town.